Hey everybody, it's Christian Buckley and doing another MVP Buzz Chat. I'm talking today with Anthony. Hello.
Hello, Christian. How are you doing?
This is finally you got here. I mean, how long? It's been like 6-7 years. I've been chasing you down, trying to get on your skin. No.
Yeah, I've been dreaming of it for a while. So
Yeah.
thanks for featuring me.
We just need to build the list of the people that were trying to keep us apart and not connect and do this. We need to go after those people. Well, hey, so Anthony, for folks that don't know you, who are you, where are you, and what do you do?
So thanks for featuring me again in the MVP Buzz Chat. So I'm Anthony. Hello, everyone. I'm a French, Canadian, and Italian Microsoft MVP. I've been awarded in 2018 in the Microsoft .NET and web development area. I'm an independent senior software developer, and I've been living in Montreal for almost 11 years, not 10, not 12, 11 years. So hello from the true north. And my current occupation is I mainly work with the .NET stacks, ASP.NET Core, and Microsoft Azure.
I was thinking about, I've only ever been to Montreal in the middle of winter. So my perception is that it's just year-round winter in Montreal.
Oh, it's great. It's super warm. Today, it's only -11.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. It's toasty. Yeah. Well, it's, the last time I was there, it's funny, having been there several times, but last time I was there, the whole poutine experience and eating way too much, and it's fantastic, folks. If you don't know what that is, with the burnt ends on there, it just
There are a ton of choice, so you won't be disappointed if you taste one of them.
Yeah. It's one of those comfort, but like, just prepare. Like, don't do it in the middle of the day. Do it towards the end of the day. Have that, because you will want to go take a big nap after that.
Yeah.
So
I made a good decision one day. I got one just before jumping in bed.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Yep. But well, that's really exciting. So so you've been in this space for a long time, and I mean, even 7-8 years. That's a long time for your space to change. I mean, in the category developer technologies, I know there's a lot of things that Microsoft crams in there. Like now, I'm in the M365, which is huge space of all the various dozens of products and things that are within that. What's your your focus? Like, what are some of the topics that you're really focusing on most recently, with all the announcements with Ignite behind us? And
so I started writing blog posts about ASP.NET Core, and among that, I've been writing a ton of articles on C# since C# 8 until 13. Also, ASP.NET Core. A new version of ASP.NET Core, such as minimal APIs, and also the .NET framework itself. And recently about Azure Function. I did a ton of job migrating Azure Function in .NET 16's process to .NET 8 isolated, and it was such a challenge because, everything changes. So, I needed to blog about it to make people aware about the cavities, and I did a ton of work of this. And also, I wrote 2 books. The first one, it was 2 years ago. I wrote the book, Beginning gRPC with ASP.NET Core. And another one last year, Coding Clean, Reliable, and Safe APIs with ASP.NET Core 8. And I focus on minimal APIs instead of controllers. And that's a secret. A third one is coming soon.
Yes, we were talking before we started recording. Like, and I always say, I've said it on this series a number of times. Like, writing a book is one of those things where you've got to be passionate about it, because it's the most amount of work you can do for the least amount of pay for the book itself. And especially like technical books don't do the volume. But I mean, I've built relationships with other people in the community, and friends. I've gotten clients because of that, a lot of consulting work through that, and people have come and just be like, hey, this book, like my third book that I did, I had a lot of people. There's like like there was nothing else around this. Like you guys, with my two co-authors, it's really in depth. It really explained the components that the documentation didn't go and cover, talk about implementation. So it's really, I always prefer to take a community authored book over even Microsoft product team books because of getting that real world implementation experience, applied to it versus the here's how the product should work out of the box, and then you've got usually with like I'm not trying to beat up on like the product teams going out and writing books because they will often have external people co-author and participate, but again, it's usually a step away from the marketing material and more focused on real world experiences when it comes from the community.
Absolutely. And you're right. I built a strong network because my first book, gRPC, because when I wrote this book, it wasn't correctly or enough documented. So I made a huge impact with that book, and even Microsoft noticed it. And I'm proud of it today because it's like the reference of gRPC. So to be honest, I felt the imposter syndrome. So when my author come to me, hey, do you want to write a book on gRPC? Because I saw you wrote a very interesting blog post about it. It took 2 months for me to jump in. I was scared at the beginning. And at the end, yes, it has been a huge challenge, but I succeed. And yeah, I built a strong network around this book. And at the end, by myself, I decided to write another book and a third one. So yeah, that's incredible. And I'm, as like you said, I'm trying to go further than Microsoft documentation, real world example. And it was 2 relevant books, and I wish the third one will be too.
Yeah. Well, this is let me ask you about what as your style of creating content. This is actually, so I do a lot of content strategy. I do advisory. I do coaching for people that want to become MVPs. Even I've coached a lot of current MVPs on content and how to get more value out of the content. Like you're writing a book. When you're going and organizing and writing a book, are you thinking of, hey, I'm doing all this hard work around this content. How else can I leverage the content? Are you doing other things with it? Is it, in blog posts, in white papers and ebooks, or other presenting on topics that are captured within that book? Like, what is your process?
Oh, this is a very huge topic because first off, I describe what is gRPC, for example. And at the end, yes, I connect with my network. Hey, what would you like to see in this book? And based on that, I made a real life example with gRPC. I just did not follow the Microsoft documentation, I would say, and I try to be in place of the reader, and what I would like to read. Oh, that is a very interesting topic. So yeah, I build example based on my community advices. Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you then, but that content that you're putting together, like you're writing a chapter, let's say you're writing one right now, you probably are writing several right now, but with that, are you trying to leverage that content in other channels? Like, are you blogging about that content? Are you, so before you finalize the chapter, like, have you presented on a couple of the topics in that chapter at sessions, at user groups or conferences or anything like that? That's what I mean by, like, are you leveraging that content in other formats?
So yes, I was writing some blog posts at the same time, asking advices to Microsoft as well, product owners such as James Newton King. Thank you. And on the other end, yeah, for sure, I kept secret some content, obviously, but in the meantime, I faced a challenge with this book because I will go in technical briefly, but gRPC doesn't support validation with data annotation. So in the meantime, I mentioned in my book, oh, we don't have such a thing for gRPC. I wrote a NuGet package that allows developers to validate messages. And while I was writing this book, I published that NuGet package. And guess what? 2 years after, this package has been downloaded 1 million times.
Wow. Yeah.
Also, plus my book, I'm also getting feedbacks of that NuGet package.
Yeah, that's a very similar experience with my first 2 books. I wrote it with my my startup with my co-founder, my CTO, and so we had scripts and tools that were built as part of the examples that we were using and we're talking about, and it became some of the the largest or the most frequently downloaded packages for that product. Not in the Microsoft ecosystem. We ended up selling our company and all of those things to it was to Rational Software, so it was in that space. So I guess technically it's in the DevOps space these days, although that acronym didn't exist back then. But yeah, again, it's a great way if you think about it from a marketing standpoint. I'm a marketing guy. I think of it the standpoint as that one, you're building community around and pushing people towards your eventual new book that way. But you're also validating the ideas, the concepts that are in your book in the chapters by going out to community, by presenting and sharing that information.
Yeah, it was the very beginning of gRPC. Nobody knew, so I have been victim of my success. Oh, there is no validation, so I must do something. So yeah. I had no choice, in fact, but I really appreciated it.
Well, one question I always like to ask Anthony is kind of like your origin story with becoming an MVP. And it's been a little while, but maybe you could just share, because a lot of them like very similar stories, but I still like people to share it. Is how did you find out about the program? How did you become an MVP?
So, okay, there are 2 major steps in my life. So I've been living in Canada for 10 years. I've been awarded in 2018 when I was already living in Canada. But I met my first MVP in my life when I was working in France. I was living there. It was in 2012, my first contact with an MVP. So I met many. I worked with them in the same company, and then inspired me. And one day I woke up and I decided to blog about some topics. And I was, wow, I'm learning as well, so it's not for the title, it's for, my own knowledge, because guess what? Sometimes I'm a bit messy, so I forget what I learned. So I need to blog about it to just remember it. And after a while, I've been recognized as an MVP by Microsoft because another MVP referred me to Microsoft. So it wasn't like an accident, I would say. But at the end, I wanted to become an MVP. If you propose it me, for sure, I will be proud. And since this time, I don't stop learning because I love that and I love to share my knowledge.
I think that's the key. That is the key. Not that I think it's a key. It is the key. Is that one, like we'd all do this same thing even if we weren't MVPs. We were doing it before. It's just I do the same thing. In fact, I just told somebody this morning that my blog, my website, which I just experienced recently, the 21st birthday of my blog. So for a long time. Since February of 2004 when I launched it. My original blog post is still on the site. I've kept it there. But I was doing it as an extension of my brain because I couldn't remember all these things. I wanted to catalog these different things. And so I do that through OneNote behind the scenes and the blog out in public and share that out. And so that was the kind of the starting point for me as well, just capturing that information and sharing that out there. So and I know that's difficult for some people, is sharing what you're learning, because a lot of people have that, that fear of like, hey, look, I'm not an expert yet on this new technology. I don't want I don't want to share it until it's perfect. It's like, well, nothing's going to be perfect. Everything's going to be different. Everyone's going to have different perspectives, but you still should share that what you're learning, your journey, and you'll find other people that are following behind that or at that same level or just ahead of you and can reach back and help you as well.
Yeah, fun fact was 10 days ago, I just went through my blog because I was seeking about something about unit testing I wrote 6 years ago because I forgot it and I helped myself.
Yep. Have you ever done something where you've gone and you've searched on something and then found your own article or something and be like, oh, I knew about that at one time. Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Sometimes I find myself on Google and more funny, my colleagues sometimes, hey, Anthony, I did not need to reach over the phone because I was Googling a topic. I found your blog post. So thank you.
I actually, with Copilot doing a better job, even in some of the public tools like ChatGPT, of the references where I searched on something and one of my own articles came up as the reference. So that was kind of cool. Yeah.
Me too on gRPC. Yeah, absolutely. I experienced it the same. And yeah, I'm kind of happy.
Yeah. So yeah, we're doing something right if we're well, maybe something the algorithm knows it's us, and maybe it's just trying to incorporate that into to kind of placate us. But well, and so how's the community going and user groups and stuff in your area? Have things kind of rebounded since pandemic? Are things back to kind of growing again, or what's the community perspective from Montreal right now?
So I think I see some kind of decline for .NET a bit. I got a huge impact, a huge traffic on my blog during the pandemic, but since last year, looks like things are slowing down. I don't know why. Maybe because .NET is getting a bit less popular. I've seen that Python, for example, is increasing, and yeah, it's very in demand now. So I'm planning to blog about it. It's still part of my area. I can definitely, but I'm learning it. I'm learning it, to be honest. So I'm learning it, and I will share my knowledge after.
I have to say that my startup back in the late 90s, my first startup, our MVP was built on Python as well back then. But there's other stuff that's is around. Is that right? Is it that? Or was that the second one? Anyway, it was a long time ago. My memory is post-pandemic. My memory and like of like time, I often think it's like, oh, I just saw that person last year. No, Christian, that was 6 years ago. Like, oh, last year, 6 years ago. I don't know. It's all this. Maybe it's middle age. I don't know. Yeah. Well, that's very cool. So what other people that are newer to this space, what should they go take a look at? What should they focus on right now? Is there anything that you're really excited about from the most recent updates?
I'm also learning, for example, Blazor. So this is something that people should learn, even including myself, because yeah, I have been overwhelmed by JavaScript. There are so many frameworks: AngularJS, React, Vue.js, Next.js, and last week I've learned a new framework again. It's Stimulus.js. Every week I discover another JS framework. So for once, let's make a pause with JavaScript, and why not developing web application, front-end web apps with C#? Why not? Yeah.
And I know that we get into kind of a religious discussion when people talk about their preferences there. It's just funny, like a good friend who I just remember him 15 years ago complaining constantly about JavaScript. And yet I go look at occasionally on something and I always find him referenced for JavaScript. There's like so much content that he did. And he's one of the leading experts in the Microsoft ecosystem on JavaScript. And like, yeah, he was fighting it at the time, but he ended up becoming one of the experts in that space. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity around for people that are interested in getting more involved in the community, maybe becoming an MVP. You just have to kind of pick your product, pick your lane. What do you want to focus on, and then go in depth in that space.
Yeah, but even though you're interested in front-end dev, at least you must start with the basic with .NET, obviously, for sure.
Yep. Always start with the basics, and write about it and share it. I mean, this is another argument where some people say, well, like, everybody's written about, why would I want to go write about basic things around .NET? It's like, share your journey. People don't have your background, your perspective, and they might find your story, the way that you talk about it and what you're sharing in your journey, and they might better connect with you than all of the other content on that topic. So don't let other experts or content out there deter you from writing about something that what you're interested in, what you're going through. Share it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's with the incredible amounts of information, data that are out there, there's still where we can't self-edit. Like we need to still create more. It's a good thing. Let the cream rise to the top, and let people go and pick the voices that they're interested in following, and
Absolutely. It's a very huge topic, and there is a spot for anyone in any specialty. So just do what you want to do and have fun.
Yeah. Well, Anthony, hey, I always like to ask as a kind of a wrap up for people that want to connect with you, that want to find you. Where are you most active in social? Where can people reach out to you and find you?
People can find me mostly on LinkedIn, Anthony Giretti. After that, on X, Anthony Giretti as well. Very easy to find me. And also GitHub, because I have some side projects. Anthony Giretti again on GitHub. And also my blog, anthonygiretti.com.
And I'll have all those links and everything, of course, on the blog post over on buckleyplanet.com, and I'll have it on the YouTube as well. So, and I always say, don't be shy, reach out to the fellow MVPs. So you want to learn more about what he's doing or get his advice, like reach out. MVPs are always happy to connect with people.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Well, Anthony, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks to you.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.